I'm a multimillionaire, ask me anything. Do you ever make it rain? I have been known to make it rain in Vegas once or twice. I have always had this question. Why do the larger house have so many more bathrooms than there are bedrooms? This plagues me. Larger houses are meant for entertaining. Guests tend to piss and shut more than they sleep at a party. New life goal: shut at a millionaire's house party. How do you feel about the idea of having to pay more taxes? I feel it is completely fair. At a certain point you can't use all the money you make, so I feel completely okay with paying more because I earn more. What about a flat rate tax, where everyone paid the same percentage regardless of the amount earned? I don't think that a flat rate tax is good. I can pay a 50% tax rate and not feel a blow at all, but a doctor making $300k a year can't. I'm not advocating a 50% tax rate for myself right now, but I think that my rate should be higher than most others. How did you make that kind of money? Good question. I'm the sole exporter, in the way of legalized monopolies, of Apple products into certain parts of the world. This enables me to sell the $650 iPhone sold here in Apple stores for 200% to 500% markups, as well as all other Apple products. I'm relatively young, so I have a passion for cars, and I have those moments when I walk into a dealership and they don't take me seriously due to the way I looks and dress and just say duck it and drop $250,000. How did you manage to get into that position? Did you just call Apple and say, yo Steve, let me be a sole exporter of your stuff to certain parts of the world? This had nothing to do with Apple. I got in touch with the government agencies that regulate such matter in the countries that I work with. It's funny, Apple can't sell their own product there unless they go through me. Do you ever feel guilty that you have monopoly of product and millions of dollars and you still mark things up that much? It's simple supply and demand. The end user controls my prices. If the demand goes down, the prices go down as well. This might sound like a strange question, but when you were younger, say in your teens, did you ever think you would be this successful? Not a chance. When you became a multimillionaire, what was the first incredibly dumb spend you did? As in, a waste of money, but you did it anyway because you could afford it and you just thought duck it. My convertible red Ferrari. I live in the Pacific Northwest, not the best city for a convertible. I regret nothing. Do you ever go without? If your TV breaks, is it no biggie to just go buy a bigger newer one, or are you more conservative with your money? My TV had never broken. At first when I started out I was very conservative, but at some point you start living life and stop caring about spending money. I honestly could not spend even a quarter of the money that I have if I tried. I just don't know how, short of piling it up and burning it. Do you do good deeds, such as giving family, close friends, perhaps employees large sums of cash? I support my parents. I will never put them in a home, and I will be there with them till the very end. I also support my siblings. I paid off their mortgages, loans, and other debts. I also employ a large number of family members and friends. I do give to charity as well. Someone very close to me was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer, and since then I have given a lot of money to Susan G. Komen. Did you inherit your wealth, or did you earn it yourself? I earned every penny myself. It makes it that much sweeter. Are you secretive about your wealth, or do you make it blatantly obvious? The people that I encounter on a daily basis know about my wealth, but if you see me in the street I dress and act very casual. How many bedrooms and bathrooms does your house have? 7 bedrooms, 11 bathrooms. Bonus question. How many houses do you have? 4 houses and a condos. Good time to be in real estate in my city. How many PMs are you getting saying, well, if you insist that you could never spend that much money if you tried, why not give me $1 million? I admit, it's always really tempting to ask for money when someone is so blatant about having too much. I just got a PM from a young lady asking to go on a date. I found that to be very blunt and bossy. She definitely isn't a gold digger. Do you have over 10 million in the bank? Yes. How old are you? And how long ago did you acquire your fortune? It took me 5 years of hard work to get here. The business that I'm in expanded rapidly and exponentially. I'm in my 20s. Good God, I have wasted my life. What's the best thing and worst thing about your wealth or status? Best thing is not having to worry about money ever. Worst is the way others act around me. So, in a way, do you think it's good to have rich friends where money is the same to them? Sadly, yes. What was your most expensive purchase? Can I borrow tree Fitty? Do you own any exotic animals? Maybe a tiny giraffe? I once got very drunk with a few friends from my fraternity a year or so ago and tried to purchase a pygmy giraffe. I contacted my concierge from one of my credit cards. Long story short, I got a call the next day from said concierge telling me that they could not read my handwriting on the adoption paperwork I had faxed the night before in an attempt to adopt a pygmy giraffe. I had no recollection of any of this. What fields would you recommend to those of us beginning our higher education? Just don't become a lawyer. I have a number of lawyer friends that can't find jobs because they are dime a dozen these days. I'm debt free, but it is so hard for me to save money. Do you have any saving tricks? Every dollar you earn, pretend you only have 25 cents. Can you tell us about your education background? I have a business degree from the University of Washington. Business school does not teach you how to run a business, they teach you how to be a good employee for a hedge fund or a bank. Quick one. Now that you're super rich, have people invited you to join secret rich person clubs and tell you the secret that only rich people know about the economy/gov? Or does that not actually happen? I have no idea what you are talking about at all. Such clubs do not exist. That's exactly the answer someone in a secret rich person club would give. Also, assuming you hang out with other ultra rich folks, how do they act and think differently from the 99%? In general, they all think they are better than everyone else because they have more money, but the reality of the matter is that they are all morally corrupt and many of them inherited their money. They see themselves as the tit that society is sucking on when in reality they are the ones sucking the life out of everyone else. I strive to be different, at least I try. How much do you tip? I tip 30% on everything. What were some of the if I was a billionaire/multimillionaire things you wanted to do before you became wealthy that you had done? Help my family. If I googled your name, would there be any results? Yes, there would. Is it really about who you know as opposed to how hard you work in life? Absolutely, but in my case it was a little bit of both. I guess the people I knew were the ones that facilitated the start of my business, so I would have to say that who you know is very important, unfortunately. How does money influence your level of happiness? Money will not buy happiness, but giving it away to people who need it most seems to make me happy, so I guess in a very twisted way money did buy me happiness. Do you still buy lower priced food, clothes, etc.? Or do you always end up buying the top of the market items? I tend to be more gravitated to the quality of an item than the price tag. I admit that I don't check prices and quality tends to go hand in hand with top shelf, but that is not to say that I won't buy an item just cause it's cheap. What was the biggest failure you have come across that may possibly also cause you to give up on being the multimillionaire that you are right now? I was once scammed when I was 18 years old and lost every penny I had saved up. Had it not been for a loan from my parents, I would have been working a 9-to-5 at Best Buy right now. If you could go back and choose a different lifestyle/career, what would you do differently? I would be a fisherman. What is the one thing you found changed the most from having normal money to having effectively unlimited money within reason? What's one thing you wish had changed and hasn't? Money changes everything around you, especially how people act and treat you. None of my friends are comfortable around me, so I try to act as down to earth as possible. One thing that has not changed is how I act and dress. Any plans for the money in case you die? Leave all to the kids or donating? I don't have kids, and I'm not married. I never plan on having kids. I plan on leaving it to my immediate family and donating to charity. I also want to commission a building of schools in third world countries. I'm very young though, so that is far away, hopefully. What is something you see as a hot topic right now to invest or focus on, as you did with Apple products when you started? Real estate is rebounding very fast. People that are in the house flipping business are doing very well. Do you trust Lifelock with your social security number? Good question. I have other methods of preventing identity theft. Do you travel a lot? If so, what would be the best place you have ever visited? Dubai hands down. I go there a lot. Looks up Dubai Island and you'll see what I mean. Do you judge other wealthy people for not being as generous as you? Not at all. It's their money, they earned it, and have every right to spend it how they want. I come from a middle class family. I'm moving to New York City in 2013 to go to university. I've got a grand total of about 12k in savings. I'm 17 years old, not working yet but a freshman in community college. How do I make that 12k work for me? Avoid loans at all costs. If you graduate debt free you are already ahead of your peers that graduated years before knee deep in loans. You'd be surprised how much more wiggle room you have and how much more confident you are if you have no debt. Why do you go to work? Why not just live off the money you have earned? Do you plan on retiring early? Work keeps me sane. If I sat at home I would go crazy. I plan on retiring early because my line of work is very mentally taxing. However, I don't plan on sitting at home. In order for me to feel like a useful member of society I feel like I need to contribute as long as I'm able-bodied. Do you have any plans to retire yet? 35 is the magic number. I saw your post regarding business school as teaching you how to be a good employee. I have to ask, how necessary do you believe a bachelor's degree is? A degree gives you credibility, what you learn on your own from trial and error and just street smarts you cannot get from a degree. Was being a millionaire the goal, or did you one day find yourself surprised at the amount of wealth you had incurred? It was always my goal, but I did not imagine I would be here so early in my life. Thanks for the IAmA, just a quick one. Centurion card or Palladium card or some other super fancy card that has ridiculous benefits? I have both. Centurion is not as exclusive as Palladium though contrary to common belief. As a businessman, do the benefits outweigh the costs in terms of being rich? The general attitudes towards being super rich is having it all, but there definitely seems to be unforeseen negatives that come along with your surplus of money. In the end, would you do it all again, or take a different route? I seem to have avoided all negatives associated with being rich minus a few minor things. I would do it all again exactly the same way. However, that is not to say that my opinion won't change in the future. Do you ever get depressed? I'm sure you do, so I guess what I'm asking is what kind of things bring you down? Also, what cheers you up? I'm convinced money can't buy happiness, so I'd like your perspective. Absolutely, I wish I could hang out with my friends without having them make rich comments. What brings joy to me is seeing other people happy after I lend them a helping hand. I never expect anything in return and tend to do many of these acts anonymously. So my questions are, did you have a lot of money growing up? And, if not, how did you adjust to a more comfortable lifestyle after you started making the big bucks? My family had money when I was growing up but never as much as I do now. I feel like I'm not qualified to give a satisfactory answer to these questions. It was not a huge adjustment for me. However, it did help me in the sense that I didn't go crazy once I had all the money and was very modest about it to a certain extent. What would you like to see your family do with your money when they inherit it upon your death? Buy Bentleys or keep investing and building your empire? I want to keep my business going and give back, just like I did. There is not real joy in having money unless you surround yourself with people that care about you. I think that giving away a portion of it is the best way to keep yourself sane and happy. How would you change some of the problems in our society with your money? I'm not sure I have enough to significantly change a problem in society, but I would like to see a lot more on evolution in our public school system. I think kids are being brainwashed these days. If you hypothetically lost everything and the bottom fell out of your industry, what would you do to try and get rich again? I would start a pygmy zoo, pygmy everything, pygmy staff, pygmy animals, real money. It's a lifelong passion. Did you reach a threshold of assets where you were all of a sudden like, oh shit, I'm rich? Yes, I had a number in mind that I was planning on getting to before I can declare myself rich. What kind of cars do you have? My first car was a Ford Tempo. I remember pushing it to get it started a couple times. Right now I own 9 cars. I don't want to come off as a snobby rich guy and say what cars I own. Let's say they all go really fast. Do you work? I mean, outside of pushing paper and talking to people. Like fix stuff, build things, man stuff I suppose. I think it's important that people know the value of hard work and what they can do with their own hands. I've always had a passion for working with my hands, and as a hobby on the side I buy houses at auction and remodel them with my dad. It's really rewarding, and I get to spend quality time with my father.